Hi guys, welcome back to Office Blokes News. I am Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively, we're all very serious doing the news today.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in the news today. We just had our budget as well.
You know what? I've not seen anything on the budget.
Nothing will affect you.
Really?
Yeah, unless you smoke, drink, gamble.
Smoke, was that going up like 15% or something?
Up a lot.
It was going up a lot, didn't
Wow.
it? Yeah.
Wow. No, fair enough.
Don't smoke.
The thing that baffles me is if 45% of the price of alcohol is alcohol duty to the government, then why is non-alcoholic Guinness pretty much the same price as normal alcoholic
fair
Guinness?
point.
Disgrace.
That's what
Should
I
be
read.
encouraging people, shouldn't they, to drink stuff like that.
Tax cuts.
I mean, look, I tell you what, it's the biggest rip-off when you go in pubs. It's like the cost of like orange cordial or black currant or something like that.
Don't drink that when you go to a pub.
No, but if you wanted to drive, you just wanted a quick drink of something, and you're getting charged like £2, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's absolutely diabolical.
I wasn't
Coke as well.
I wasn't lying when I said this was the news. This is current events. Absolutely mind-boggling stuff. Exciting.
Coke's more than £2 anyway, mate. For that little bag, it's a lot more.
No. Well, if people aren't going to drink, encourage them to, if they're driving from
You can't encourage them to do drugs if they're not going to drink.
Encourage.
Anyway,
You know perfectly well what I mean.
15 most valuable things in the world.
Ooh. A lot of things like books and stuff like that are valuable as well, aren't
Big
they?
paintings.
Is that a Ming vase?
Possibly.
Because I grew up on stories from my dad of people finding Ming vases in the loft, and it ends up being worth 20 million quid or
sort
whatever.
of antiques. I mean, big business, isn't it? Bits of certain gold, jewellery. I mean,
paintings, maybe,
paintings will be a real big one, I guess.
I mean, paintings are one of the only things that the class is priceless, some of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm sure everything's got a price, but let's find out. Anyway, the 15 most valuable things in the world.
Many people enjoy collecting things as a hobby. From trading cards to musical instruments and memorabilia, there is something satisfying about watching your collection grow. But in every category, there is a veritable holy grail, an item so rare that only the world's elite could hope to possess it. From gemstones to comic books, we're looking at the rarest items in the world. Honus Wagner. Though he may not be as famous as Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig, Honus Wagner's baseball card is by far the rarest in existence. The 1909-11 Honus Wagner set a new world record price for a baseball card, selling for $3.12 million. This breaks the old record of $2.8 million, which was paid for a different copy of the same card in 2007. The cards were produced by the American Tobacco Company. About 60 Wagner cards exist. The tobacco company abruptly stopped production because either the great pirate shortstop opposed smoking or he wasn't compensated for use of his image, or perhaps both. For whatever reason, the limited run made the card extremely valuable. In addition, the card was produced with larger than average margins, leading to the nickname Jumbo Wagner. Regardless of the production flaws, this is easily the rarest sports card in the world.
Well,
Gutenberg.
Would have just assumed it's the Babe Ruth one. Because that's what you hear people talk about, isn't it, with baseball cards?
Yeah, definitely.
I've heard of this one, the Gutenberg Bible. I think it was on Porn Stars once.
Yeah, I think I've heard
or like a version of it that had been, maybe it had been added to or it had been interfered with in some way, and it reduced it loads.
Bible. Many people see the advent of the Gutenberg printing press as the single most important moment in modern history. Before the printing press, books had to be written out by hand, meaning that it was time-intensive. Thus, books were scarce and literacy was a luxury reserved for the rich and powerful. But the Gutenberg press changed all that. The first book printed on the press was, unsurprisingly, the Bible. The first was commissioned in 1456 and several hundred more followed. But books are not designed to be durable and very few remain. At the moment, 28 partial copies are purported to exist and 21 full copies. These are held in the Library of Congress and other well-respected institutions all across the Western world. A single page in good condition can go for $25,000, and a complete first edition could easily fetch $35 million. Not bad for a dusty old book. Rarest coin. At first glance, it might look like a piece of leftover loose change, but it's actually worth millions, making it possibly the most valuable ounce of gold in the world. The rare 1933 $20 double eagle is the most expensive gold coin ever to be sold at auction and a legend among collectors. The coins, featuring an eagle on one side and liberty on the other, were melted down before they ever left the United States Mint, sacrificed as part of a strategy to remove America from the gold standard and stabilize drives the American economy. Only one coin is legally in private hands, with all other 1933 double eagles remaining as property of the U.S. government, and the U.S. Secret Service pursues any newly discovered coins. Only one coin has been sold in recent years, and the $20 coin went for an unbelievable $7.9 million.
Imagine finding one of them in the attic and then the Secret Service turn up. And go,
we'll
take that. Yeah, and you're like, yeah, of course you will, mate.
Heads or tails, I'd say.
I wonder what drives people to pay the vast amounts for things like that.
Rarity.
Rarity, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
no,
gonna
but
get, you know,
there must some sort of, I don't know,
I don't know. It's
get some sort of joy out of it, don't you? And sort of,
I think some very rich people have a very
Kudos.
hefty tax bill that they need to write
And they
off
have
against
a-
some
maybe-
things, some
well.
appreciating assets that they can cash in at some point, maybe.
good point. Yeah.
Shakespeare's signatures. William Shakespeare was so prolific that many people posited that he was actually a group of people publishing under a pseudonym. He was an English poet, playwright, and actor of the Renaissance era. He was an important member of the King's Men Company of theatrical players from roughly 1594 onward. Known throughout the world, Shakespeare's writings capture the range of human emotion and conflict and have been celebrated for more than 400 years. And yet, the personal life of William Shakespeare is still shrouded in mystery. Of course, his stories are required reading in many schools around the world. While the works themselves are not rare, it's extremely rare to find his signature. In fact, there are only 6 verified copies in existence,
That's a signature,
and they are
isn't it?
each valued
Yeah.
at $3 million or more. None of the signatures are connected to works of art. Instead, they are on legal documents that he signed during his lifetime. The scarcity of signatures only adds to Shakespeare's mysterious identity. Painite. Painite is the world's rarest known gemstone. It was originally discovered in 1950 in Myanmar by British mineralogist and gem dealer Arthur C.D. Payne. Painite's extreme rarity is due to it containing the chemical elements zirconium and boron, which do not normally associate with each other in nature and don't occur together in any other mineral. Ironically, some painite crystals are partly altered to a crust of small pink crystals of the more common ruby. Though it's very close in composition to sapphire, these stones are totally unique. Their extreme scarcity means that painite costs as much as $60,000 for a single carat. They are only native to a small region in Myanmar, making them even more difficult to obtain. While other precious stones like diamonds and emeralds are better known, true gem aficionados know that painite is the rarest stone on Earth. Spider-Man
Never heard of that.
No, I've never heard
I've
of it.
never heard of Painite, no. I guess it was named after that gemologist. He was
Yeah.
called Payne, wasn't he?
Yeah,
After
that's
Payne.
right.
I like that gemologist, but also salesman or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this is a lovely example of this top pocket.
Yeah.
comic. Even a casual comic book fan knows that Spider-Man is the most beloved superhero and that his early material is extremely rare. Writer Stan Lee and illustrator Steve Ditko created Spider-Man as a filler story for a canceled anthology series. At the time, a teenage lead hero was unheard of in comic books. However, young readers responded powerfully to Peter Parker, prompting an ongoing title and ultimately a meteor empire, including video games, several animated and one live-action television series, a live-action film franchise, and a Broadway musical. The first appearance in Amazing Fantasy number 15 is by far the most highly valued comic in the world. A copy of Amazing Fantasy number 15 sold at Heritage Auctions in Dallas on February 18, 2016 for $454,100, a record price at public auction for the comic. That record was shattered when a mint-condition copy was sold for $1.1 million less than a year later. Because the publication was initially sold for only 12 cents, it pays to hold on to your old comic book.
My dad, he's got a big comic book collection. Some of the rarest in the world. Jonathan Ross.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's a big fan, isn't he?
Yeah.
I remember being at a car boot sale when I was a little kid, and there was a guy with all his comic books laid out, and I can't remember what I saw. You know, I just remember what the guy said. But he said it's a first edition Spider-Man. But I don't know what that means. You know, is it like, is it that? It's obviously not going to be that
Yeah,
because
well, it could
that's
have
so
been.
rare.
Yeah.
But he wanted something like 70 quid for it or something, and I was
Yeah.
this little kid at a car boot, and I was going, whoa, how much?
I know,
That's
yeah.
loads of money.
I think he's got to authenticate it though, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
massively, yeah. I mean, it'd be probably for certain people, it'd probably be quite easy to do fakes, wouldn't it? Or guess things like that. So
I'm not so sure it'd be that easy.
no, we don't know. I mean, people do fake sort of like classic paintings as well, don't they? So
They do, but there's a lot to that. There's a lot of pages. There's the paper it's on. You know,
I'm just thinking people in the actual printing industry
Yeah,
might sort of like,
Specialists will know.
yeah.
They'll know straight away.
I think they would.
If you're getting like $500,000 for a copy, then I think there'd be people having to go anyway.
Absolutely.
But
Whether they get away with it or not, I'm not so sure.
Spider-Man just
damn
wrote
kids,
as
I would have gotten away with it.
mad though how it was just created over it as a filler. And
Yeah,
it's become
it's
one of the
bizarre.
most iconic characters
Yeah.
in the last 60 years or whatever it is.
Yeah, and the last 10, 15 years has been even bigger, hasn't
Yeah.
it? It's come back
Yeah.
again into
Yeah.
extent films and all sorts. It's been
The
absolutely
latest,
huge.
the latest animated movie, Into the Spider-Verse, is one of the best movies made for years. Me and the kids watch it all the time, and it's even not forget it being a kids' movie. It stands alone. It's such a good movie.
It just shows, doesn't it? Sometimes it'll just resonate with the public and they go for it. Like I say, it's made as a filler, and it's like ended up being one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Tre Skilling Yellow Stamp. The Tre Skilling Yellow is a Swedish postage stamp which holds the world's record auction sales price for a single postage stamp. In the 1800s, Swedish currency was known as a skilling.
I always thought the penny black was the rarest stamp.
I think it's a rare. Well,
That's what I've always.
Might be the rarest British stamp.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I just thought because I was under the impression that we had one of the first postal services over here, and the penny black was like the first stamp. That's how I read it anyway. But clearly, maybe not sort of the case.
I signed up to a stamp collector's thing when I was
No
about
shit.
5 years old or 6 years old.
It still goes.
No, I seriously was. It was like in the back of a Beano or something, an advert for it.
Yeah.
And I filled it in and somehow sent it off. I didn't send money, but they just kept sending stuff and then sending bills to my parents. And they were like, how did you even get this? But I was just one of them where I didn't even really care. I think I went, oh, that's pretty cool. And then got a couple and then I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Normal 3 skilling stamp printed in Sweden should be green, whereas the 8 skilling stamp was printed in yellow. However, due to an unknown error in 1855, most likely because the 3 skilling plate was accidentally replaced by an 8 skilling one, the 3 skilling stamp was printed in yellow, creating the precious Tre Skilling Yellow stamp. The only known copy in existence of the Tre Skilling Yellow was discovered by a schoolboy named George Wilhelm Beekman in 1886 while going through his grandparents' attic. The stamp made headlines in 1984 when it was sold for $1.07 million. At a 1990 sale, it made over $1 million, and then in 1996, it was sold again for $2.875 million. Each successive sale meant a world record worth for a postage stamp. This also makes the stamp the most expensive item by weight in the world. Levi jeans. Levi's are synonymous with blue jeans. The story began in 1850 when a Bavarian immigrant arrived in San Francisco to try his luck in the gold rush. Hearing of the miners' need for durable pants, Strauss hired a tailor to make garments out of tanned canvas. Later, denim was substituted and copper riveting was added to pocket seams. Little did he know that he would become richer than any of the gold miners. Levi's became extremely popular for their durability and eventually their style. A pair of these original Levi's 501 jeans from more than 115 years ago went on sale in 2005 and were purchased by a Japanese collector for $60,000. While there are technically more expensive pants, these are one of a kind and cannot be recreated, making them the rarest pair of pants in the world. Double fantasy.
That's crazy, isn't it? You think how many pairs of them were just burnt through in the mines.
I know.
Farted through.
Why was he sniffing them?
That's what I was wondering as well.
Well, you did say fart through, so maybe that's the reason.
It's just mad that that's kind of mass produced and throwaway.
Yeah.
And then just becomes worth that much. Usually it's a scarcity of something, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know they're scarce now, but
I've got something that's quite, it's rare. It's not valuable yet, but it will be. 'Cause it's rare.
what is it?
It's a 1968 mono version of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club.
Vinyl.
On vinyl, yeah, with the original cutouts still in mint condition.
Wow.
Still brand new condition.
Yeah.
Oh, did you know what it's worth now?
It's worth about $2,000. But once Paul McCartney dies and Ringo, then I'm
Worth more.
probably.
It'll only get more valuable, something like that. As long as
And it's in mint condition.
Yeah. things like that do, especially when they're in mint condition. It's a massive selling point, isn't it, for things like that?
It's
So,
not stored with
collectibles
loads of
as
other vinyls on top of it, is it?
It's in a secure place.
Right. Okay.
It's nice, and it won't get damaged. Put it that way.
Good.
Yeah.
You get a thing called, I think it's called print through.
Yeah.
Where they're all
Yeah,
stacked
stick
on
together,
top of
stick
each other
together.
and they start affecting each other.
Yeah.
But this is the mono version, which is what makes it more valuable.
Yeah.
And it's got the cutouts, which are untouched.
Nice.
Yeah.
Best thing I've got is a not the Beano annuals, but the Beano specials. The annuals are like the wooden ones that you get every year. The special was like the magazine version that they started bringing out every month.
Yeah.
And I've got the first ever edition of that, but I think it's like 1980s or something.
Right.
It's worth absolutely nothing nowadays.
Yeah.
But again, like, probably no one's thinking to hold on to him.
No.
So, my kids, let's say their kids,
You never
100
know.
years' time, that could be worth a fortune.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
You never know. Yeah.
The album. One of the most legendary and brutal murders in music occurred on December 8, 1980. Mark David Chapman was a psychotic man living in New York City. He had a number of obsessions, including Catcher in the Rye, Todd Rundgren, and most famously, the Beatles. On that fateful day, he accosted James Taylor in the subway and then went looking for famed Beatles songwriter John Lennon. Before the grisly murder took place, Chapman asked Lennon to sign a copy of his latest album, Double Fantasy. Lennon acquiesced, only moments before Chapman shot him point blank in the back and the lung. The album fell into the rose garden nearby. It was later used as evidence in the case because it had Chapman's fingerprints. Though it's an extremely morbid piece of memorabilia, the album was later sold for $460,000. Chapman remains in jail to this day for the horrendous murder. Soraya horse. The Soraya is a breed of ancient horses that developed in Portugal's Iberian Peninsula. Their primitive markings, convex profile, and grulla coloring are all indicative of their ancientness. The Soraya is an extremely rare breed and is one of the very few types of original wild horses that are still living. However, very recently they have been categorized as a breed by the Portuguese National Stud in order to ensure safe breeding by human intervention and thus help their population grow. Today, they are mainly found in Portugal and Germany. It's thought the Soraya animals were among the first to be taken to the Americas by the Spanish as they were adaptable, hardy, and useful as pack animals. Once upon a time, these horses were plentiful all across the European continent, but loss of habitat and proliferation of new breeds has forced this beautiful creature almost into extinction. Blue Empress.
Didn't say how much they're worth though, did it?
No.
No, not at all.
It's devalued to varying value.
Yeah.
I know you get like bulls, don't you, and things like that, that they're studs and they're worth millions and millions.
Racehorses.
Oh, they can
Yeah,
be,
racehorses as well, yeah.
Fortune, yeah.
It's uncommon for a piece of jewelry to set off a media storm, but that's exactly what happened in 2003 when Harrods department store in London unveiled the Blue Empress. The diamond necklace valued at around $16 million, and the shop hoped it would be sold as a Christmas present. The necklace quickly attracted a bid of $20 million. It's built around the Blue Empress, a rare blue pear-shaped diamond weighing 14 carats. The necklace in which it's set is made from 18-carat white gold and a number of smaller round white diamonds. It's among a unique collection of 11 blue diamonds mounted in settings from Los Angeles-based designer Christian C. The stone is especially valuable because colored diamonds are extremely rare, and this specimen is considered by many to be the most perfectly crafted in the world. The necklace was eventually sold to an anonymous buyer for an undisclosed amount. Bottle of wine. Even an amateur sommelier knows that wine is valued both for its taste and its history. One bottle of wine from 1787 has both in spades. The bottle was a Bordeaux, a 1787 Chateau Lafite produced by the Rothschild family's vineyards in the south of France. Publisher Malcolm Forbes in 1985 paid $160,000 for a bottle of 1787 vintage, which was believed to be from the late President Thomas Jefferson's cellar and has the initials THJ etched in the glass. Thomas Jefferson was the third president of the United States and one of the most revered of its founding fathers. A philosopher, scientist, and statesman, the aristocratic Jefferson was also an avid enophile. When he was ambassador to France, he spent much of his time visiting the vineyards of Bordeaux and Burgundy, buying wine for his own collection and on behalf of his friends back home. Ming Dynasty vase.
So it's the sale of 160,000 that's the expensive one.
Yeah.
I was waiting for now it's valued at 2 million or
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll only go up in value unless if it's still around.
he might have drank it.
Yeah.
Probably tastes like piss by now. Oh. Imagine cracking it open and it's just disgusting.
It's shit.
It's just like turned because it's been kept for so long.
Turned like wine.
It turns?
Certain wine does.
Yeah.
Bordeaux will probably be all right with.
If it's left in not in the most appropriate conditions.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
All wine can go off like that.
It's got to be on its side to keep the cork moist if it's going to be stored for a long time.
Sommelier.
I know things like this. Otherwise, air can get to it.
An old vase may seem like it's primed for the donation, but check it with an antique expert first to see if it can pay for your retirement. In one case, an ancient Chinese vase was left haphazardly on a wooden shelf and was totally uninsured. But when the couple who owned it were going through their belongings, they realized they had hit the jackpot. Dating from the 15th century, the Ming Dynasty imperial vase went for $22.6 million.
You wouldn't even catch me touching it going anywhere.
No, you wouldn't do that with it anyway, would you? Stay well clear.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Being short.
It doesn't matter. Once it's gone, isn't it?
26 million for a pot.
Total idiots at work. Didn't someone do that on, was it Antiques Roadshow? Didn't they smash something that was ended up being worth a fortune?
Yeah, I don't think it was not that
Nothing
kind of
like
value.
that. No, but still a lot.
It's happened, yeah.
This was almost twice its first estimated value. Surprisingly, it was bought via a telephone bid by an anonymous buyer. Very few of these vases exist in good condition, and the couple said they couldn't remember where they had acquired the decorative piece of kitchenware. Thanks to this happy accident, the couple have retired comfortably. Caviar of the East. Yan Wo, or bird's nest, is sometimes referred to as the caviar of the East. There are two reasons for this. Their high cost, and because this food is treasured as a delicacy. A few species of swiftlets build edible nests that are consumed by humans worldwide, and because the nests are extremely difficult to harvest, the food is extremely expensive. The Chinese believe eating these birds' nest influences lung, stomach, and kidney meridians, and improves appetite and complexion. They commonly use them to aid recuperation from debilitating illnesses because of their easily digestible glycoprotein and other nutrients. Farmed nests can cost $30 a bowl in China, but wild-caught nests generally go for $10,000 a gram.
Why?
Wow.
I think that's it, isn't it? Just why? Some things just you don't need to eat. It's okay. Just leave it.
It's all right.
I know, but it's a bird's nest.
I know.
It's just weird.
There might be certain nutrients in
You
there,
ain't
you
gonna
know.
have it.
that-
No chance of you trying it, right?
Absolutely no chance, no.
Yeah, I'll try it.
I just don't get it.
No, I know what you mean.
Just because it's rare or just because it's hard to harvest doesn't make it. There's loads of ways to get nutrients in there. That's going to be a status symbol. It's going to be extravagant, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's more.
Each to
what
their
it's
own, though,
about.
isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't go anywhere near a bottle of wine for more than a fiver. You know, but I don't drink wine, so
Either.
well, you know what I mean. But $5.50 maybe.
Push the boat
Push.
out a little bit.
No, but some people will go think a bird's nest is a bit of a delicacy, and they'll go for it. A bit like your caviar or your truffles and things like that. You know, people just push the boat out for certain things, don't they?
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
I've just never heard of anyone eating bird's nests. It's just kind of thrown me a little bit. That's all. It's a bit bizarre.
Yeah, I'm still surprised there's no paintings on there, but maybe
Yeah.
you could probably make a load of programs with some of the most valuable
Yeah.
things, couldn't
Yeah.
you? You really could.
I think a lot of the iconic paintings haven't been sold for that long that there may not be a valuation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's things like, I mean, if you're talking to jewellery, probably the crown jewels is probably the most expensive
Yeah.
in the world, I would guess, or certainly one.
But
you
not
know.
accessible.
But absolutely never accessible, is it? Exactly, yeah. But yeah, I suppose these are ones that people can actually buy and sell in general, apart from the maybe the coin.
Yeah.
But
Some bizarre ones on there, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
yeah.
Say the bird's nest. What were they made from? Swallows.
I think it was swallows, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it swallows?
It's a bit of
I can't
It is a
remember.
bit of a strange one, though, I must admit. Yeah.
Anyway,
though.
let us know in the comments what's the most valuable thing you've got, merchandise-wise. Don't say, I'm alive.
Maybe some OB merch.
That's it. That's going to be valuable soon.
There's
yeah.
not a lot of it about, so
There isn't, correct.
Yeah.
And he's going to die. He's going to die soon.
yeah.
So, yeah.
It'll double in value to £3.
Yeah, anyway.
Dear.
That's what we should get. Office Blokes £1.50 coins.
We'll speak to the Royal Mint tomorrow.
And get them made. Mike's head on it. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.